Welcome back, it's Zion from Uke On Demand, and this week we're teaching a beautiful film score from one of my favorite franchises, Jurassic Park. And at ukeondemand.com we have two versions. We have an easy arrangement and an intermediate arrangement. And both require a low G ukulele. In this video, we're going to go over the first bar, but you can get the entire tutorial and all the tabs at ukeondemand.com. So to begin, we're going to start off by doing a pull-off, and I'll play through this bar very slowly just so you can hear how it goes. And to do that part, again, we're starting off with the pull-offs, and if you're not sure what pull-offs are, we do have a tutorial on them in our techniques library at ukeondemand.com. But just for now, if you're not sure what they are, you can just pick each note individually. Just pick the first fret of A, and then the open A. And just like that, you can pull off if you need to. And then from here, we're going to go straight into a B flat chord. And so if you're not familiar with B flat, again, you're going to be barring the first fret with your index finger, just the E string and the A string. Your middle finger will be on the second fret of the C, and your ring finger will be on the third fret of the G. And we're going to strum that chord once and hold it. And this is where the main difference comes in between the easy version and the hard version of these tabs. Because in our other version, in this gap, we do fill it with chord melody to sort of bridge the gap between the chords and the single picking. But either way, strum the B flat. And then we're simply going to repeat and do a pull off. But instead of a B flat, this time you're going to be going into an E flat. And so you're going to have your index finger on the first fret of the A string, and then you're going to have your three fingers, pinky, ring, and middle, all in a row on the third frets of the E string, C string, and G string. So it's first, third, third, third. Now there is an easier way to play this. If you can't do the full version, and we only do it this way because later on in the song, we're going to need this be in this version of E flat because we'll be needing our middle finger to do extra notes. But if you need to for this first part where it's a little bit easier, you can do a simplified version of E flat where it's still the index finger on the A string, but you'll only have your ring finger on the third fret of E and middle finger on the third fret of C. That is also an option right here. Whichever way you do it. Moving on, we're going to pick the same thing we've just done. And so before we do that, let's just play everything we've learned so far, nice and slow, starting with that index finger on the first fret of A. Open, B flat, hold, then pick, first fret A, open, E flat. And then here, now let's focus on the second half of this bar. We're going to start off the same. First fret A to open, B flat. Now, if you're having a little trouble with B flat, it is an easier bar chord, but it's still not necessarily easy if you're new to bar chords. So if you're looking for an easier way to play B flat, simply eliminate the G string. Don't play it at all, and start from the C string and strum down. That way you only need two fingers. You're still doing the little bar, and you'll have your middle finger on the second fret of C. But as long as you don't play the G string and start from C and go down, you're still playing a B flat, and it's much easier. Won't quite sound as full, but in a pinch, it'll still sound perfectly fine. So that's a little tip for you. The next chord we're going into is going to be different. We're going to pick the third fret of A first by itself. And here, with the chord we're playing next, is going to be an F chord. It's going to look slightly different than the F chord you're probably used to. So you're probably used to F looking like this. You'll have your index finger on the first fret of the E and your middle finger on the second fret of G. And that is correct, but this is also an F chord. You can add your ring finger to that third fret of A. And in that position, you could just strum the entire chord. And that's still F. So it's third, first, open, and second. And just like the other chords, you're going to let this one, you're going to hold it and let it sit for a second. And then we're moving into our final chord of this bar. But before we do that, we're going to pick the 6th fret of A first, and then strum it. And this is actually the same chord we played earlier, your E flat, but in bar chord position. And so you're going to be barring the 3rd fret, all the strings, and your pinky or your ring finger if it's more comfortable for you. I like using the pinky on the 6th fret of the A. Now the same rule applies if you find bar chords a bit tricky. Same rule applies that we did with the B flat earlier. You can start eliminating down strings from the top down, and we do have a course on simplifying bar chords at ukeondemand.com. And so what you can do is just bump that bar down, so it's just covering 3 strings. It's not on the G anymore. And just don't play the G. Just start under it and strum down. And then that's an easier version or way to play that barred E flat chord. Whichever way you do it. After that, you're also, like the other chords, just going to hold it for a second. We start adding more notes the second time we play the verse. But before we go on, since we've learned the entire first bar, let's go back to the beginning and play it together very slowly, this time with no direction. And that's how to play the first bar of the theme song to Jurassic Park. Head over to Uke On Demand to get the full tabs for both versions and full tutorial, and subscribe below so you don't miss our upcoming fingerstyle songs. We'll see you next time.